This morning I wanted to revisit a design that I've done probably since Bernina version 7, and I wanted to rework it in version 9. It's faux tatting. Nothing looks exactly like real tatting to my eye, but I can get by with this when I want to decorate something. So, this is a motif that I worked out, and I'm going to go ahead and so that I can show you how to set up your pattern run. I'll copy it, and let's open up a new page. Let's delete that one and Control V to set it. But what I do want you to see is when you take something into a new page, it's going to default to the start and end in the middle, just because that's the way I have my software set up. But for this, I want to change it to first stitch of the design, last stitch of the design, and say OK, and that takes care of that. This design really sews from here, sews around, catches the picots around, and then does the chain, and of course it's catching the picots as it goes. And then hopefully I can get this set where it will repeat another ring and just catch itself here. It will look like the way that ring and chain tatting joins together. So I have it fill in my screen so that I can exactly see my stitches, but I'm going to also take off True View. I touched T on my keyboard to do that. I don't really need grid for this, but guidelines I find do help me. So I'm going to put a guideline right through where this begins. And I'm going to be stopping the motif. I've determined that if I stop it here, it's really going to be too far apart when it repeats. So I'm actually going to stop it somewhere in here, hopefully. So I've created the design that I want to repeat. I will go to Settings, Create Pattern. I had already set up a folder, but let's create a new one just so that you can see. To create a folder, let's call this one just GB. Okay. And now I need a pattern name, and I'm going to call it RC for ring chain. I'll say OK. Now I need to tell it where I want this to start and stop. And I want that to be on the same plane for this designs. There are times that you might want to begin here and end here. That will give you kind of a slanted motif. This one I want to be straight. So it's asking me right now, here's your clue down at the bottom. Enter start point of the reference line. The start point is here. And you probably heard it beep. And I'm going to use my control key to get a very straight line. Now if you look at the bottom, it's telling you to enter end point of the reference line. And I think it works out to actually end shy. And now it tells me it's set. I'll go back to actual size and deselect everything. Now I want to use it in a sentence. So let's say open object, touch where I want it to begin, holding the control key so that I get a straight line, and enter. And let's go ahead and true view that. So this simulates tatting. It is not the double stitch like we really do in shuttle tatting, but it's fine for decorative purposes. So I get a straight line. That's great. Can I do a circle? Let's hold the control key and make a fairly large circle. Let's go for an oval and enter. And it's a little bit close for my circle, but it would get by. Once it's sewn, you know how embroidery does. It kind of draws in slightly. And I'll just change the color just to have something different. Um, and of course, this acts like any other design in that you can move it around. Maybe that needs to go more in the center. Um, but it's fun to play with. So that's your pattern repeats that you have created yourself.